So I've been asked a lot about how to build your own training split, whether it be upper lower, full body, push pull legs, whatever you're trying to do. And I think today we'll talk a little bit about how you actually could do that as I go through my upper day here. And one of the main things to think about and sort of be mindful of when creating your own split in the gym is putting emphasis and putting bias on things that are actually important to you. And remember that you can't bias everything. So you can have a pretty well-rounded split, something where, you know, you're really putting a lot of emphasis on different things and giving, you know, your arms, your back, your chest, giving everything, you know, a considerable amount of love, but you can't give everything an equal amount of love. And that's something that you need to really be mindful of as you kind of go through your movements and your programming, that you can't give everything the same amount of emphasis because it's just not possible. So, for example, with this upper day we're about to go through here, this is very chest biased. I'm starting the session off with my incline chest, moving into some flat press later on in the session, because at the beginning of my session, my nervous system is going to be stronger and capable of producing more force. My nervous system is capable of recruiting more motor units to actually go through these movements. So as we work our way up and as we add weight and as we go throughout the session, we are going to eventually reach a point where our nervous system is primed to its best ability. So when I'm through my warm-ups on my first set, that's probably when my nervous system will be at its peak capacity. And then as I go through the lift, I'm going to be depleting my nervous system with each set. That is why you usually lose a rep or two as you go through your sets. So my first set of a machine might be for 7 reps, and then if I keep the weight the same, my second set might be for 5 or 6 reps. And that's, again, something very, very normal that is going to happen as your nervous system loses some of its output throughout the session. So here we go, starting with some incline Smith, feeling out one plate. I like to avoid clicking in my elbows if possible, and I find a nice solution to that is to go a little wider, keeping a tuck here, but just going a little bit wider. Nice, that felt good. Okay, that was one plate. Bring it into our working set here. So a great mindset to have before getting into these sets is progress at all costs. It's something that, you know, certain people aren't thinking about when getting into their sessions, and it's kind of where they're missing out on progress. If you consciously think about actually progressing, like adding weight, adding reps to every lift, and at least making that an effort when you go in, you're gonna be unbeatable. And doing that for 3, 5, 10 years straight is really where the gold is. If you're coming in here just aimlessly going for pumps, you're building a split where you're not actually tracking and focusing on progression, why have a split? Like why go to the gym, period, right? Like, you're not actually monitoring your progress and making sure you're progressing over time. So if you write that down, or even if you just keep it up here, if you know that you're making progress, that is by far the singular most important driving factor for hypertrophy, is mechanical tension, ensuring that every time you go in, your muscles are being adequately stimulated and taken within a close proximity of failure. That is the gold in pretty much every aspect regarding hypertrophy training. So we got a plate and 40 here. The last time we did this for 5 reps with 0 in the tank. Am I gonna get that again today? I don't know, I hope so. We'll see, but ideally we were able to get 6. So just about 2 plates here, just shy of 2 plates here on the Smith, incline chest press here. Ideally we come here and we get about 6. So we're gonna focus on keeping every rep the same, keeping a nice arm spacing. Everything here feels good. And let's get to it. Here we go, here we go. Let's move the chair ever so slightly forward. Okay, that looks good. Here we go, 6. All right. We did it, and that is our only set of incline Smith, or our only set of incline chest press for the session. So because I was able to progress that, I know that I recovered from my previous session, and we'll be ready for next time, hopefully. So that's the goal. Again, it's not the total number of sets, it's are you actually able to do this and progress session to session, even when you're really gunning it and you're really getting heavy at a point and giving things your all. So it's not going to matter in your first 6 months in the gym, because you'll be getting stronger every week pretty much anyway. But when you reach plateau, plateaus and you start really creeping up the weight, are you able to still do that? That's what's important. So the next thing you want to think about is whether or not you're putting compounds or isolations first and how you're sort of sequencing that. So the thing with compounds is that they're going to generate more systemic fatigue usually. So a single arm bicep curl is probably not going to generate the same amount of central nervous system fatigue as something like an incline chest press or something like a hack squat or a stiff leg deadlift that's like super coordination heavy. So a lot of these things are going to take different tolls on your nervous system. And obviously, like I said earlier, the nervous system is the thing that is powering the lift. That's the thing that is powering the stimulus you're actually giving the different muscle groups. So for example, when I'm doing these warm-ups here, even something as simple as this, I'm not going to do 10 different warm-up sets and like gas myself out because I'm really just trying to get a feel for the weight before I actually do my working set. So I'm trying to get my technique ironed out. I'm trying to make sure everything is nice and comfortable. But aside from that, I don't want to do much else on my warm-ups because they're not conducive to growth. They're not actually stimulating new growth in a meaningful way. So that's like with anything you do in the gym, everything does come with a cost. So we're going to do some flat press here. Probably going to do, we did 2 plates at 25 to 10 last time. So let's see how this is feeling. We'll do 1 rep here with 2 plates and then maybe, just maybe, we will inch it up to 3 plates. It's hard to say. So here we go, 2 plates and let's feel it out. Nice and wide, relatively wide, comfy. Okay, a little heavier than I thought. So we did the decline last time, this time is the flat, so slightly different. Maybe the modification made this a little different. So that felt good. Let's chip our way up. I'll probably do a 25 and a 10 this time because I don't want to get too crazy with it and blow out my tricep or something, so let's not do that. 2 plates, 25, and we'll do a 10 on each side, and that should be pretty much in that ballpark. By the way, I hope you guys enjoy the format with these videos. The way I'm formatting these is like, you know, talking for a little bit, give me some advice, give me some opinions, and then getting into the lift, trying to keep it nice and raw and organic feeling, not hyper processed and hyper edited and all that. So hope you guys enjoy this format. I think you'll like it. Should hopefully be informative and entertaining, ideally. Remember, you guys can get my splits for free if you want with the link in the description. So make sure to head on over there and check that out. Got our wrist strap here just for some extra stabilization at the wrist. Same thing on the left side. Little stuff like this can be very helpful. It's not a must, but it's cool to have at times when you're feeling it. So, okay, here we go. This is feeling good. Nice little tuck here on the flat press. Here we go. Okay. Oh, Jesus. All right, not my favorite rep. That was a little dirtier than I normally like, but it happens sometimes. That's another thing with your splits. Want to make sure you're not putting in stuff that's injuring you and hurting you, or things that you're tempted to use bad form on. Like that rep was not my favorite. Happens sometimes, you get carried away with yourself, but for the most part, try to limit or avoid that when you can. So unfortunately, last time I was here at this row, I kind of had some problems with like stabilization and things like that. But unfortunately, after using T-bar, I've kind of been spoiled with this Nautilus wide row here. It's just so stable. It's like phenomenal. The only main thing I don't like and that I've been having an issue with is as I go heavy, my feet, I'm not able to really like lock my feet in. So I start to get, you know, less stable than I would like, but it is still more stable than a T-bar and just a very good machine. So we're gonna feel this out here doing some upper back work. And again, that's another thing you're going to want to think about when actually building your split is how stable are your movements, because ideally the more stable the movement the better. So something like this, okay, so something like this, you'll see you have a chest support, and it really lets us actually push our upper back to failure, which is the most important thing here, at least being in a close proximity to failure. And again, you don't want the reason why you fail to be that, oh, you know, the dumbbell started shaking, I couldn't keep the dumbbell in a straight line, or, oh, you know, my lumbar was hurting. You don't want any of those reasons to be why you fail a movement. So when doing something like a wide grip upper back row, having a chest support, and ideally, again, if this thing had a better foot pad as well, those would be phenomenal things to look for. Again, a lot of people, when building splits, they usually end up doing too many sets. That tends to be the first culprit, like I mentioned earlier. You know, your volume allocation, you know, your nervous system taking a hit over time. So the amount of sets you're doing is like the first place to really start and to think about when building your split. But again, after that, you know, a lot of times it's just bad exercise selection. And then you also have the problem of redundancy. So, for example, if I have a wide grip upper back row like this, there is no reason for me to have a wide grip T-bar row or a wide grip dumbbell row or something where I'm hitting my traps, rhomboids, rear delts in the same exact position again. That is simply a waste of time. That is a waste of effort, and it is a waste of very valuable gym sessions. So as you guys can see, we're going to do probably 1 or 2 sets here, and just take note of the fact that later in the session you'll see I'm not repeating this. There's no reason for me to repeat this in just another format. There's no need. I'm already doing 2 sets of traps and rhomboids with a row. That's all I need for traps and rhomboids in this session. So here we go, 180, let's feel this out. Okay, and here we go. Oh, it feels so good. This is definitely a 9 out of 10 from Nautilus. Okay, so that was 180. I really think I got 240. We got the stack here. This is a great machine, by the way. Okay, so we're probably gonna stack the whole thing out here, and I will probably lower you guys a little bit. You can actually see my back working here. Okay, this seems cool. I'm lowering you guys a tiny bit just so you can actually watch kind of my back at play here. So again, trying to come back and drive our arms back and stop. Once they reach about here, we don't need to go any further than that. We got 240 on the pin, so stacking this thing. It's gonna be brutal, but I'm here for it. I'm excited. So here we go. Upper back rows. Strap in, and here we go. Okay. If we get nervous before a set, that's where I'm at right now. Okay, hold on. You ready? Okay, take your time. There we go. Okay. That was 6 reps. That felt amazing. You guys can't see my head, can you? No, you can't. That was 6 reps. That felt absolutely amazing. We'll probably keep that as is. We probably won't do a second set. I just haven't done this in a little while, so I'm gonna keep this as is. And again, when you have a novel stimuli like this, an exercise you haven't done in a minute, you're probably gonna be a little bit more sore from it, just because the novel stimuli is actually creating more muscle damage. So I'm just going to call this a really good set, which it was, and continue on with the rest of my lift. So last thing I want you guys to think about when designing your split is, can it be meaningfully progressed over time? That's really the question that you should be leaving this video with and sort of finishing things off with, is can you meaningfully progress this set from set A on day 1 to, the last set of the day on set, whatever, 1,000 after, 4 months, 5 months, whatever it is. Can you continue using the split repeatedly over time and week to week make strength progressions, even if they're small ones, make strength progressions week to week, improve your technique week to week, improve your execution intensity? Can you continue to improve with this split? There are a lot of splits out out there that, for whatever reason, are simply way too high in volume, way too many sets. They're simply way too injury prone. So you're going from, you know, a deadlift to T-bar row to standing calf raise and putting all this pressure on your spine. And then, you know, the next day you're hitting, you know, another hip hinge and you end up just running your connective tissue out. You end up burning yourself out. So try to do things that are not going to burn you. And the best way, again, to limit that and prevent that from happening is the total number of sets. You know, I don't like to go really above 10 to 12 sets in a workout is like enough. That's definitely the upper threshold of what I'm doing personally. Some people could go up to maybe, you know, 14, 15 and be all right, but you know, that's starting to get excessive at a point. So you don't need to go up in set volume like that. Definitely try to taper your sets down and just pick exercises that are smart, that are stable, and that you were able to execute well. This could be push-pull legs, this could be upper lower, this could be full body. I'll probably do another video on that in the future, like picking which one you want, but that's just the ballpark I want you guys to be thinking in. So I hope you enjoyed, hopefully you found it useful. Coaching application down below, as well as a bunch of other resources, including my splits you guys can try out for free down below.